The Young and the Restless spoilers. Tuesday, full August 12, 2025. The tension in The Young and the Restless is palpable as the stakes rise for Adam, Chelsea, Billy, and the entire Newman family. With so many pieces on the chessboard, the drama intensifies, revealing cracks in relationships that have been previously overlooked or underplayed. As the majority of the Newman family is caught up in the mystery surrounding Dumas' murder and the strange gathering, Adam and Chelsea's professional futures seem to come back into focus. For a moment, it seems as though they might finally be on the same page. Their shared vision and ambition could signal a turning point, one that aligns their professional interests in Genoa City. However, that alignment is short-lived. Chelsea is quick to make her feelings known, pushing Adam to abandon the battle against Billy that Victor has ordered him to pursue. Chelsea's loyalty to Billy is both confusing and telling. She has always been someone who places a strong emphasis on her personal connections, often putting her emotions ahead of hard business decisions. Her desire for Adam to ease up on Billy is understandable from her perspective. After all, Billy and Chelsea share a long history, and their complicated relationship has its own layers of emotional complexity. But Adam is not so easily swayed by Chelsea's pleas. His relationship with his father, Victor, is fraught with tension and expectation. Victor has always expected his sons to follow in his footsteps, particularly when it comes to protecting the Newman empire from any threats, Billy being no exception. Adam, who has spent much of his life in competition with his family, is now caught in a crossfire between his loyalty to his father and his own feelings of independence. Chelsea's request to let Billy off the hook doesn't sit well with him. For Adam, this isn't just about business, it's about asserting his position in the family and maintaining his power. Chelsea's attempt to steer him in another direction only pushes him further into conflict. Adam's growing impatience with Chelsea's loyalty to Billy highlights the emotional rift that is forming between them. It's easy to see why Adam would feel betrayed. After all, Chelsea has always been adamant about her own moral compass, and her willingness to play both sides, to protect Billy while aligning herself with Adam, could be seen as a breach of trust. For Adam, the lines between business and personal relationships are becoming increasingly blurred, and he's starting to feel that Chelsea's loyalty lies more with Billy than with him. He doesn't want to be put in a position where he has to choose between his family and his own ambitions, but the pressure is mounting. As tensions rise, Chelsea is left to grapple with the consequences of her actions. Will she regret her decision to align herself with Adam in this way, especially if it leads to further strain in their relationship? Her connection to Billy is undeniable, but her partnership with Adam offers her a different kind of security and power. If Chelsea finds herself caught in the middle of Adam's battle with Billy, will she side with the man she's built a life with, or will her loyalty to Billy win out? The emotional tug-of-war Chelsea finds herself in is far from over, and she may find herself forced to make a choice that could break her ties with either Adam or Billy, two men she's deeply invested in. While Chelsea faces this internal struggle, Billy finds himself in a different kind of confrontation. The preview for the upcoming week reveals that Billy will not be facing off with Victor or Adam, but with Nick, who is becoming increasingly frustrated with Billy's actions. Nick's calm exterior is beginning to crack, and his patience with Billy is wearing thin. Billy, who has often been a wild card in the Newman family dynamic, will now be put to the test by Nick, who has his own issues with the potential alliance between Billy and Kane. Nick's concerns about Billy's intentions and his relationship with Kane are well-founded, considering the threats Kane poses to the Newman family. But Billy's response to Nick's confrontation will be crucial. Will Billy take a stand and assert his own power, or will he back down under the pressure? This tension between Nick and Billy adds a new layer of complexity to the ongoing struggle within the Newman family. It's not just about business decisions anymore, it's about personal allegiances and the fragile trust between brothers. Billy, who has always been a bit of a lone wolf, may find himself backed into a corner, forced to make decisions that could have long-lasting consequences. If Billy's relationship with Kane leads to further conflict with the Newman family, will he be able to mend the rift, or will this mark the end of any potential alliance between them? As the week unfolds, the storylines for Adam, Chelsea, Billy, and Nick are becoming more intertwined. Adam's growing frustration with Chelsea's divided loyalty and Billy's escalating tension with Nick are both signs that the fragile alliances in Genoa City are on the verge of collapsing. The question remains: will Chelsea be able to maintain her position between Adam and Billy, or will the pressure of their respective conflicts push her to make an irreversible decision? And for Billy, will he continue to walk the fine line between the Newman family and his own ambitions, or will his past decisions finally catch up with him? The coming episodes promise to be a turning point for these characters, with emotional confrontations and high-stakes decisions shaping the future of their relationships and careers. It's clear that no one in Genoa City is safe from the ripple effects of these power struggles, and the consequences of each character's actions will leave an indelible mark on their futures. Victor Newman has long been a master of manipulation, and his actions in The Young and the Restless continue to reflect his ability to control and bend others to his will. His constant engagement with his enemies, particularly Kane, is more than just a tactic, it's a game of power and dominance. Victor doesn't simply seek to destroy, he seeks to control the narrative, forcing his enemies to play by his rules or face dire consequences. His calculated moves with Kane are no exception. The question remains: is this just a temporary measure to knock Kane off balance, or is this the beginning of a much larger and more permanent retaliation? Victor's ability to strategize and control others is what makes him such a formidable force in Genoa City. Whether it's through corporate maneuvering or manipulating personal relationships, Victor always has a hand in shaping the outcome of any situation. His rivalry with Kane has only escalated, and as we've seen in past storylines, Victor doesn't take betrayal or competition lightly. Kane, who has aligned himself with Billy in an attempt to challenge Victor's empire, is playing a dangerous game. But in the world of Victor Newman, no one remains untouchable for long. Kane may have thought he could outsmart the Newman patriarch, but Victor is always several steps ahead, and his payback will be swift and calculated. As the drama unfolds, it's likely that Victor will take action against Kane in a way that not only serves his business interests but also teaches Kane a lesson about crossing him. Whether this is a calculated move to temporarily undermine Kane or a long-term effort to destroy his reputation and position in Genoa City is yet to be seen. Kane may find himself facing not just the fallout of his business choices, but also the psychological and emotional toll of dealing with Victor's wrath. No one escapes Victor's schemes unscathed, and Kane is about to learn just how deep Victor's influence can reach. Meanwhile, Clare, who has long been seen as the sweet and innocent figure in Genoa City, is beginning to unravel. Her carefully crafted image of purity and integrity is starting to fade as her connection with Victor grows stronger. It was one thing to play the part of the dutiful daughter, but Clare's role in Victor's web of manipulation is taking a darker turn. The facade she has built for herself, one that she has held on to so tightly for so long, begins to slip, revealing a more complex, conflicted character. Her alliance with Victor, especially in the form of his attempt to drive a wedge between her and Kyle, speaks volumes about the lengths she is willing to go to secure her own place in the Newman empire. But the question remains: is Clare truly aligned with Victor's vision, or is she caught in a storm of manipulation and deceit that she can no longer control? Victor's use of Cole's memory to strengthen his own position and assert his influence over Clare is just another example of how he bends people to his will. By weaponizing Clare's past, Victor is not only shaping her future but also controlling her emotions and decisions. Clare may think she's playing a strategic game, but she's ultimately being used as a pawn in Victor's broader strategy. This power play is sure to have consequences, whether it's the erosion of Clare's own moral compass or the disintegration of her relationship with Kyle. Speaking of relationships, Lily's position continues to become more precarious as her ties to Kane are tested. As the news of Damien's death spreads, Lily is faced with the difficult task of informing Holden. Their history is one of deep friendship, tinged with complications and unresolved tensions. Holden and Lily once shared a strong bond, both professionally and personally, but the fallout of their past disagreements has created a rift between them. The news of Damien's death will serve as a painful reminder of the fragile nature of their relationship. Holden, who was once close to Damien, will likely take the news hard, but how will he react? Will he be the last to know about Damien's death, further complicating his feelings toward Lily? Their shared history is fraught with emotional baggage, and this revelation will only add fuel to the fire. Holden's response to the news of Damien's death will be pivotal in determining where his relationship with Lily stands. Will he see her as the friend she once was, or will the distance between them be too great to overcome? Lily may have been the one to break the news, but it is Holden who will have to decide how to process the grief and the sense of betrayal that comes with the loss of a close friend. As he confronts the reality of Damien's death, Holden may find himself questioning his own choices and his relationship with Lily. Will they find common ground again, or has too much time passed for them to rebuild their once strong connection? As the drama unfolds, these revelations will serve as turning points for several characters, from Victor's manipulation of Clare to Lily's strained relationships with Holden and Kane. The impact of Damien's death will ripple through the lives of those who loved him, forcing them to confront their pasts and their current alliances. And as always, in the world of the young and the restless, the line between love, loyalty, and betrayal is never as clear as it seems. Everyone has a price, and no one is truly safe from the consequences of their actions. Nate's grief over the loss of his half-brother, someone he had only recently come to know, becomes a central focus. The death of this newly discovered family member has left Nate reeling, unable to fully grasp the ripple effects this tragedy is having on others, particularly Audra. While Nate is preoccupied with mourning his brother, he remains unaware of Audra's own personal crisis. Having lost her partner, Vibrante. The reason behind her loss, the emotional toll it's taken on her, and her attempts to hide the truth from Nate remain a mystery. Audra is skillful in concealing her pain, ensuring that Nate remains in the dark. Her silence is an effort to maintain control, but the weight of her actions threatens to break through the facade she's carefully built. Audra's situation is complicated, and while she is dealing with her own emotional fallout from the loss of Vibrante, she must also navigate her relationship with Nate. As much as she wants to confide in him, the fear of revealing too much could compromise the control she still has over the situation. She knows that if Nate were to discover the truth about her struggles, it could fracture the tenuous bond they've developed. And so, Audra continues to hide her pain, keeping it locked away from Nate, who remains distracted by his own grief. But this quiet deception can only last for so long before the truth begins to seep out. How much longer will Audra be able to maintain this charade? And how will Nate react when he finally uncovers the reality of what's been happening behind his back? Meanwhile, the emotional tension surrounding Mariah and Tessa reaches new heights as Sharon becomes increasingly concerned about Mariah's well-being. Mariah, once a beacon of strength and independence, has begun to isolate herself, pushing those closest to her away. This drastic change in her behavior has not gone unnoticed by Sharon, who is desperate to understand what's happening to her daughter. When Sharon visits Mariah, she's met with a version of her daughter that is distant and unrecognizable, someone who no longer exudes the warmth and energy she once did. It's clear that something is deeply troubling Mariah, but she refuses to open up about it, leaving Sharon feeling helpless and worried. Tessa, too, is feeling the strain of Mariah's withdrawal. The once close relationship they shared is now marked by distance, and Tessa's frustration is palpable. She desperately wants to understand what's causing Mariah to shut down, but no matter how much she tries to reach out, she's met with resistance. The emotional gap between them grows wider each day, leaving Tessa feeling isolated in her own right. As Mariah's behavior becomes more erratic, Sharon's worry intensifies, and she fears that she's losing her daughter to something that she can't control. Sharon is not one to sit idly by while her family falls apart. She is determined to figure out what's going on, even if it means facing hard truths about Mariah's struggles. But what can Sharon do when Mariah refuses to open up, and Tessa is at a loss for how to help. The tension in Mariah and Tessa's relationship continues to build, and with Sharon caught in the middle, the emotional stakes have never been higher. Will Mariah find a way to confront her demons before it's too late, or will she continue to spiral further into isolation? And what about Tessa? How long can she continue to stand by, watching the woman she loves pull away, without losing faith in their relationship? In another corner of Genoa City, Daniel's confession to his father, Danny, opens up a new chapter of emotional complexity. As the preview for next week teases, this conversation has a direct connection to Tessa, marking a pivotal moment in her relationship with both Daniel and Mariah. Daniel, known for his emotional depth and honesty, has always been someone willing to speak his mind. But when it comes to Tessa, the stakes are higher than ever. His confession isn't just about his feelings, it's about the consequences of spending so much time with Tessa and the impact it's having on his relationships. As Daniel reveals his innermost thoughts to Danny, the ripple effects of his confession will have a direct impact on Tessa's relationship with both men. The evolving dynamics between Daniel, Tessa, and Mariah promise to create new layers of conflict and resolution in the coming weeks. The path ahead is fraught with emotional complexity, as both Mariah and Tessa try to navigate their feelings for one another while dealing with external pressures. For Sharon, the motherly instinct to protect her family is strong, but how far can she go to fix what's broken if those she loves refuse to acknowledge the cracks in their own hearts? As these stories continue to unfold, the characters of the young and the restless are left to confront the truths they've been avoiding, and in doing so, they will find themselves forever changed. Whether it's the hidden struggles of Audra, the unraveling of Mariah and Tessa's relationship, or Daniel's confession about his feelings for Tessa, these storylines are poised to explore the depths of love, loyalty, and heartbreak, leaving viewers eagerly anticipating what's next.